Alright, enough crappy flying at Stadium. What's up, friends? My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. You can call me whatever you'd like. Welcome to Monday Q&A. And we're going to be working on the Rocinante tonight to put in a little bit more time exploring DJI on freestyle rigs. This time with the Vista, powered from the ESC power pads, to try to fix this weird stuttering freezing thing that happens whenever I bump into anything with it powered off of the flight controller's 10 volt or 9 volt, whatever the hell it is, BEC. If you'd like to talk directly to me in the chat, all you need to do is type CiottiFPV. When you do that, it looks like this. If I see orange, I'll read your comment. If I don't, I won't. You can also do super chats if you want to support the absolute madness that is trying to do FPV full-time. I rely on support from beautiful people just like you. The best way that you can help me out is to join Patreon, though. $3 whole a month will get you in. There's a ton of benefits, a whole bunch of tech articles, audio versions of a lot of these live streams, access to the super secret, two super secret Facebook groups, the Discord channel, a bunch of other stuff. Over on CiottiFPV.com, there's a link to my Patreon. There's also a bunch of affiliate links. Next time you're ordering FPV stuff, think about your gangly buddy, and maybe I can get some free money off of your order. It is literally free money. There is no reason not to use someone's affiliate link every single time you order FPV stuff, or every single time you order on Amazon. Literally anything on Amazon. Next time you're getting that 20-gallon jug of lube, think about the best-looking FPV pilot
in the world.
What's up, chat? Imp FPV was first, Dead Chicken was next, Chopper FPV, Northern Tier, Fargo 252, Bob Noxious, Brandon McInnery, James Flores, Aircon, Grizz FPV, McConnell Studios is in the house, and McConnell Studios is currently testing out a different length of brass collar that him and I got for the Stan FPV cinesplore ducts to see if we can make them even more durable. The best Tinywhoop builds in June of 2022, it's been the best Tinywhoop build for a while now, is the FPV Cycle cinesplore, and then the motors are going to depend upon your payload. If you're carrying around like a GoPro 10, you might want to go with a slightly bigger motor than what I use on mine. Maybe you want to do like a 2104 or a 2203, 2204. For carrying around a Hero 8 with the little metal bracket on the bottom removed, which is 8 grams, you can get away with a 2004. That is my Tinywhoop setup, and it's a total workhorse. It has exactly the right amount of power, and yeah, it's just like everybody that's ever flown a Tinywhoop that flies mine is just like, what is this? How? And for the most part, anybody that flies a cinesplore has that same reaction. It's happened to Jet. It's happened to Nurk. Yeah, it is the frame to have, almost for certain. I haven't flown them all, but I've flown an awful lot of them. And like, if all of the other Tinywhoop builds are here, the cinesplore is all the way up here. Like, it's not close. Like, there's a really big difference, and it's mainly down to weight. Like, the whole point of a Tinywhoop is that you shoot really tight gaps really consistently so that you can do it on set over and over and over and over again until the performance is correct. And in order to do that, you got to have something that doesn't weigh 800 grams. The heavier a Tinywhoop is, everything gets worse. Much like with, you know, a lot of different, like most rigs, if they're needlessly heavy, they fly worse because we're flying here, you know, like gravity and all. And air is like very slippery. It's hard to push. So the lighter you are, the better you are. And then if for some reason you want more momentum for off throttle stuff, you just add a bigger battery, rather than, you know, adding a bunch of nonsense that's gonna make your rig too heavy. What do you think of that? Airwave Ant, Love Drummer, Metal Dirtskin, Samuel FPV, Crash Bandicoot, Dan636, Blizzard FPV, Bugs again, Airwave Ant again, 661, Crash again, Kathy McKibben, Fun Per Volt FPV, that's a cool name, Paul McDonald, Jeff FPV, James Flores, Bob Noxious is here. Well, he's not here. He was here a couple days ago, but he's here in the chat. Patrick Ruan, Harbles FPV. Harbles, there's a, you probably got an email. There's a package with some shirts. Hey, speaking of shirts, I've still got 2 medium shirts left. It's this one, and it's this one. So if you're a lightweight bastard like me and you wear mediums, hit me up and I'll send you a shirt for the cost of shipping. Or I'll just send it to you because I'll forget to ask you to pay for the shipping. Blizzard FPV with a $2 Canadian Californian dollar super chat. He says, throwing toonies at you, you handsome bastard. Thank you very much, Blizzard. Much appreciated. Where are we at here? All right, cool. So Bob Noxious says, what's up, Collective and CiottiFPV. Grizz says, what's up, CiottiFPV and you beautiful sausage. Grizz FPV just called all you guys sausages. Let him know how you feel about that. Tag him by typing Grizz space FPV. Airwave Vant says, yo, yo. Bugs FPV says, I love you. Bob Noxious says, CiottiFPV.com. He doesn't say CiottiFPV.com. He typed CiottiFPV.com. Captain Sabotage, I got it. Says, any frame quad recommendations for suburb backyard use, DJI compatible, preferable, that won't annoy my neighbors? That's a tough one. I mean, if you want to absolutely make sure that you don't piss your neighbors off, I would do a toothpick. I would do a DJI toothpick. You either buy a naked Vista or buy a regular Vista and take it apart. And yeah, it fits on the 25 by 25 mounting holes, and away you go. There will be that exact build here on the channel at some point. I'm building the QAVS 2.5 inch first, and then I might be building the AOS 3.5 next, or I might go straight into the toothpick. It kind of depends. But yeah, toothpick, DJI toothpick build coming soon. Grizz FP, if you want something bigger than a toothpick, it's going to get significantly louder, because you're going to work your way up to like a 3-inch sub 250-ish build. They do make some noise, nothing like a 5-inch rig, but in terms of doing that, AOS 3.5 might be your best bet. I have not really dug into many DJI compatible builds to know what frames are out there. but slowly but surely I am. So yeah, if you're worried about annoying your neighbors, I would do the toothpick builds, because even that's going to make some noise and people are just kind of shitty. So I would do the toothpick, and then at least that'll kind of like ease them into it a little bit, you know, and then maybe you look at a 2.5 inch or a 3 inch build. With a Vista though, I would go 3 inch, not 2.5, but it depends. GrizzFPV says, it's so crazy, so many have had the blackout on DJI. I haven't had them on battery and 10-volt rail, and haven't had it happen to me yet, but since I heard about it, I've tried to induce it and nothing yet. Interesting, Grizz. I've heard about it from everybody that I've talked to that flies DJI. So yeah, and if moving the power to the ESC battery pads does not fix it, I'm done. Just like that, because it is an absolute deal breaker, because it completely prevents me from being able to recover from crashes, and that is just completely unacceptable. So yeah, if I can't fix the issue, I'm bailing on DJI for freestyle, which is fine. There's an awful lot of people that have bailed on DJI for freestyle and have gone back to either analog or HD0, typically back to analog. HD0 will get there, but there's not really a good freestyle VTX quite yet. We need something lightweight, and we need something 500 to 600 milliwatts. We do not need 1 watt, 18 grams, $100. That's ridiculous. That is a long range VTX. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Daniel Harmon says, hey, CiottiFPV, hi, broke my 6mm Nazgul arm. Is that unusual? Jesus. Unless a 6mm arm is poorly designed, it should not break. You know, Nazgul is one of these bind and fly rigs, and bind and fly rigs are made by companies that tend to place making money before making good products. I don't have any personal experience with the Nazgul, but just my experience with bind and flies is that they're typically not properly designed. Well, that's a little harsh. They're not designed as well as the frames that are designed by actual pilots. The bind and flies are designed by, you know, people that work in an office, not pilots that fly rigs, usually. So yeah, that's insane. A 6mm carbon is hideously strong. So you have to really try to make a 6mm arm weak enough to break. Although, all that being said, if you slam into something at 80 plus miles an hour, a lot of stuff is going to break. So, yeah, I guess it kind of depends on how bad the collision was. It doesn't kind of depend on how bad the collision was. It depends 100% on how bad the collision was. Daniel Harmon says, nope, we got that. Samuel FPV says, where can I contact you? I don't have Insta. If you head on over to my website, Samuel, there's a bunch of different ways you can contact me. Here on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, email. Instagram and Facebook are the best. Emails have a tendency to get buried, but eventually I will get to them. So there you go. Great Southern FPV NRC says, my 7-inch sounds like a banshee screaming. Yeah, the sound is created by moving air meeting with not moving air. So the more air you move, the more sound there's going to be. You can change the pitch of the sound by changing the speed of the air, basically. Not really, but sort of. But yeah, a 7-inch rig is going to be really heavy, so that's going to require more air to be moved and thus more sound. 7-inch rigs can sound kind of quiet sometimes because they're spinning the blades at a lower RPM. So they're moving like a bigger disc of air. They're moving like a bigger disc of thrust at a slower speed until they get heavier, and then you got to move more air. So it's a sliding scale, I guess you could say. Crash Bandicoot says, in your opinion, would you rather buy an Insta360 Go 2 or a Caddx Peanut? I want to be able to use it on both my 5-inch rig and Trash Tech Beetle. I don't understand the Caddx Peanut really at all. First and foremost, you can't get physical damage protection on the Caddx Peanut, so that right there, absolute deal breaker. even if you don't crash much, you're gonna crash at some point. And I have not found the Insta360 Go 2 to be durable at all. The first one that I had blew up on the very first crash. So that issue alone totally disqualifies the Caddx Peanut for me. And I think it should for you too, because it's an awful expensive camera to be fragile. Maybe they somehow made the Caddx Peanut more durable than the Go 2, but I seriously doubt that. Because typically to make things more durable, you have to make them heavier. And like kind of completely redesign them. So I really doubt that it is more durable. I would like to think that it's more durable, but I don't buy it. Insta360 Go 2, it also makes a really good like vlogging and just like general purpose small camera to do all kinds of fun shit with. So that's another big thumbs up to the Insta360 Go 2. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're trying to save every single gram, the Caddx Peanut might work because I think it doesn't have a battery in it, right? You have to power it from your flight controller. I actually don't like that either. I don't like powering the camera from the flight controller because I have a tendency to just unplug my battery, and with a lot of these cameras, if you do that, you lose all your flight footage. So, yeah, I don't understand the Caddx Peanut, but that's just me. Reading the Wind is here. What's up, brother? He says, "What's up, everyone? What's up, CiottiFPV?" YouTube just did the thing. Here we go. Carbon Cage says, "Good day, CiottiFPV mate. What's going on, big and little Cage? How are you? Zzz. How are yous? How are Utes? The two Utes. What movie?" Somebody will get that. Some filthy dago will get that. I can say that because I am one. Forevermore says, "Hey, CiottiFPV, just wanted to say hi. I miss you and I'll be back regular soon. Sounds good forever. Good to have you back here. Good to have you on tonight. Good to have you on tonight." There's some English. Grizz FPV says the case is thicker and does have an internal battery. Okay, so it does have an internal battery. Good. Crash Bandicoot says, "Thanks for the answer, man. You're certainly welcome." Wow, all you guys got it. You dirty wops. Look at you all you Italian stallions. All right, we're caught up. What are we gonna do? I'm drinking wine that Mike from GemFan left. It's not great wine. I don't really like wine anyway, so it's probably fine, but I don't like it. Guess what? I stole that from Mighty Car Mods. Go subscribe to their channel. It's the least that we can all do. Plus, they're the best car and off-roading channel
In the world.
I am on it tonight, goddammit. Mailbag coming to you from Tinywhoop.com. If you didn't know, Tinywhoop.com just restocked a shitload of motors in some really interesting sizes and KVs. They've got 0603s, not recommended, 0702s, recommended, 0802, full-size 0802s, EX 0802s, the lightweight ones, and I think that's it. They do have like an 0803 or two, but they're not the right, KV for 1S. They have some that are the right KV for 2S. Hell, they even have an 0803 that's the right KV for 3S. I just don't know what you would do with that. A 3S battery is going to be too heavy for a rig that's on that small of a motor. But the 0702s and then the two 0802s are really, really, really interesting. And they've got these in 25,000 kV, 27,000 kV, and 30,000 motherfucking kV. Demonetized we go. There it is, god damn it. Tinywhoop Danger Onesies. Red rocket right up your ass. 0802, 30,000. Jesus. That was aggressive. All the popular YouTubers do it, so I have to do it too. Ah! Wait. Check this out. Look what somebody on Discord made. Look what happens over on Discord. Hold on. Oh, I gotta turn this up.
No.
That's me. That's a wave file titled "Gangly Man Freaks Out." Another one for the CiottiFPV voice pack.
No.
Hold on. I need to add that. I need to add that to OBS right now. Right bloody now. So I have a folder called Stream Shit, and that's where I put Stream Shit. And then I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna add media source, and I'm gonna call it no. And then the next time somebody asks a question that requires the answer is no, it's fucking on. Where is it? There it is.
No.
Let's see. This might be a little loud. Fair warning. This might be a little loud.
No.
All right, I gotta turn down. It's not the audio monitoring is not turned on though, so I can't hear it. Hold on. Where do I do that? Oh, here it is. Advanced audio properties and monitor and output. There we go. Okay, cool. So now I should be able to hear it, right? Ready? Oh, you guys are gonna get a delay though, aren't you?
No.
So how's the delay? Is the delay? I can turn off the monitoring if the delay is too bad. Is the echo bad for everyone? All right, I'm gonna kill the monitoring. Quit talking about the DJI OSD. Is that what it was from? Are you gonna get it? Michael D says you're gonna pair the fat snail. No, man. I just switched over to the OG stuff. I'm not going down that road. I just realized I need to do that with these as well. Hold on. Okay, monitor and output, monitor only, mute output. Okay, and then
In the world.
need to do it on this one too. Hold on. Okay, it's bad. All right, good. Monitor and output, mute output. Okay, so now it should be good. Let's try it.
No.
Oh! Nope. Shit, I gotta do it all again. All right, hold on.
No.
I love this. Okay, monitor off, monitor off, monitor off. All right, now to be good. I'm sad because I don't get to hear it, but you know. All right. Reading the Wind says, all right already, CiottiFPV, quit talking about the DJI OSD.
No.
I can't hear it. It makes me so sad that I can't hear it. All right, it's fine. Let me move in the world up to the top. And okay, cool. And right. Michael D says, I was hoping you would use the new sound clip when I asked if you. Oh. Yeah, I missed my chance. I missed it. I'll get a good one. We can deal with the echo. No, it's all about production quality here. Okay, hey, mailbag, right? Check out my mailbag. I'm a male and I have a bag. So we've got 0702 and 0802 red rockets. The 0702s are going to be for bi-blades. I'm going to try these on the 1.2 inch bi-blades. And then these 0802s I'm going to put on the GemFan tri-blades. I'm also going to try these on the HQ tri-blades because apparently they're a little bit less pitchy. They're definitely a less aggressive blade profile. And a less aerodynamic blade profile, as we always talk about. HQ props are kind of like Fisher-Price, my first prop design. They don't have a whole lot of aerodynamic-ness going on. So yeah, this crazy KV might be better with the less pitchy props. Fargo says we now need an open RX sound pack with no is the disarm sound. Nice. I like that, Fargo. So I did get some other things. I mean, they're just happy model motors that are in red with Tinywhoop written on the side. There's nothing really to see here. The 0702s look exactly like the happy model 0702s because the happy models are red as well. So if you like red motors, here's a way to get red motors. These are, speaking of, these are the HQ, the HQ tri-blade 1.2 inch props. You can see there it's that typical HQ blade shape, which is a very OG blade shape design. It works, just nowhere near as good as GemFan. But nowhere near as good is a little too strong. It works, just not as good. And they make them in this milky white and this smoke color. So I snagged a couple sets of those. Jesse threw in, as you can see by the little decal, that it says hand dyed. Jesse threw in a set of these GemFan tri-blades because he knows which tri-blades are the best. In this green color, he's been dyeing a bunch of stuff on his website. So look around beyond the motor section, and yeah, there's a whole bunch of hand-dyed stuff, which is really cool. So that's pretty neat. Some green GemFan tri-blades. I snagged a couple of sets of these 35 millimeter, which is like 1.4-ish inch blue GemFan props for this Beta FPV Meteor 65, which takes those bigger propellers, which we're going to be playing around with on Whoop Wednesday this week. So stay tuned for that. Should be kind of fun. Get out of there, you bastard. Wow, it's really in there. There it goes. Okay. Oh man, they're still putting that stupid ass canopy on it that has like 7,000 degrees of up tilt. I'm going to have to figure something out. That's one of the worst things about Beta FPV's Tinywhoops. For the record, Beta FPV's Tinywhoops are not great. For the most part, stay away from them. But that one is kind of interesting. That prop size is special. I still don't think it's going to be anywhere near as good as the Mobula 6 ELRS, but we'll give it a shot. And then I snagged a couple of sets of the 31 millimeter bi-blades for those 0702 30,000 kV motors. So this should be cool. And then Jesse threw in a set of hand-dyed of those same props in hand-dyed what appears to be like a grape kind of color, which is pretty slick. Huge shout out to Jesse. He is just such a good dude. He's driving a big ass truck full of Tinywhoop shit to I/O right now. I actually talked to him earlier today to to say thank you and whatnot. I also scored a couple of sets of these wild new LEDs that he's selling. Super, super, super lightweight little LED Tinywhoop setup. You hook it right up to the battery leads, and then it's just got 4 infinitely small little LEDs. This won't even register on my scale. It just weighs nothing. So I got them in red and UV, or purple. So that should be cool. I'll have some fancy looking Tinywhoops that we can just completely obliterate. I also got a set of, come on now, Logitech, you fuck. I ordered 1 set, but he sent me 2 of these because I think he found out that I got the house and I'm gonna have the basement. This what's this called? Cube gate thing. It folds up really small. I'm pretty impressed by this, man. I always have a hard time with these, but usually they're yeah, there it is. So hey, here's how you do this, guys, because I had a hard time with these for the longest time until someone specifically showed me, and then I got it. You put your hands on either side, 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, but you take one of your hands and you reverse it. Okay, one hand fist out, one hand like this, all right? You kind of pull it into your belly and you twist. And what you're trying to do is make it fold in triplicate. They all fold up like a little 3-way. So it's I don't know how else to explain it. I had to have somebody like take me and like move my hands around. But that's it right there. It folds up in triplicate, and like I guess so what happens is the part that's against your stomach goes kind of forward. Okay, so watch this part right here and watch this part right here. That's what I want you to watch. Ready? Look what they do. They fold under and over. And that's not right. Even I have a hard time doing it. I don't know, but the trick with your hands is important. One hand one way, one hand the other way. Grabbing it at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock is important. And then just understanding that it makes a triple stack is the other part that's important. And maybe you'll be able to get it. I fucking watched YouTube videos on how to do it, and I couldn't do it. So I don't know why the hell I think I can show you guys how to do it, but hey, I tried. Alright, so yeah, Whoop Wednesday this week is gonna have mad Tinywhoop gates. I have them in I have them on the corners behind the couch, so I'll be able to fly into it and then turn, fly into it and turn. On the other side, fly into it straight through, fly straight through. And then they're also like they're about 10 feet apart, so I should be able to go like in through both, up, and then down into the other. This Wednesday could be really fun. So we'll see. Fold it up like a 3-way. There you go. What's going on, Fam G? Fargo said we got that. Cool. That's what I got from tinywhoop.com. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I think I got something else, but I maybe already put it away. Forget what else I got. Maybe that was everything. Again, huge shout out to Jesse. He also sent a ton of really cool stickers. Oh! I got a holographic Tinywhoop sticker. That was the other thing that I got because I'm a complete sticker nerd. Look at these wonderful stickers that Jesse sent. Tinywhoop! That's an OG sticker of his. Yeah! And he sent me this, I think, because Micro King. And a couple of his business cards. Ordering from Jesse is always... Oh, and a bunch of big ass Sour Patch Kids that I'm gonna bring to Maggie's for the kiddos. Cheers. All right, back to business. What do I want to do with this fancy Tinywhoop holographic sticker? First thing I want to do is write the word holographic on it because I will not remember that and I will think that it's gray. Holographic. All right, cool. I still have a set of these Tinywhoop, Happy Model EX0802 19,000 kV motors. It's actually a set of 5. I just ordered the wrong size. I wanted to order 25,000 kV, but I didn't. So yeah, 0802 EX 19,000 kV. If you want them, hit me up. I'll sell them to you cheap. All right, what's this stuff? Get out of here. Get out of here. Other stuff. I actually have a bunch of stuff. Hold on. I have a bunch of stuff that I'm trying to move along. HDLRC Areola 0802 22,000 kV. I have 2 of those. I have 3 PH 2.0 2S batteries. 2 of them are 300 mAh. One of them is 350 mAh. I have a bunch of these Tiny Lifter 3D printed Insta360 Go 2 holders for Newbie Drone Goober canopies. If you have a one of the brushless Cetuses, the Beta FPV Cetus, hit me up. I've got some replacement parts for you, a replacement frame, 2 replacement AIOs, and 2 replacement cameras. Or if you're looking to do something kind of wild, these Cetus AIOs have some sort of an optical sensor on them because they do altitude hold. So if you're like, maybe if you're building like a ground effect plane or something like that, and you want something, I don't know how accurate they are, but I don't know, if you're doing something that you could use that with, hit me up and I'll shoot these over to you. I have 3 perfectly good FPV Cycle V4 cinesplore ducts, just 3. I've got 3 of these super low profile Thingiverse cinesplore ducts. On Thingiverse, there's you'll see it, it's the only one, it's the low profile one. 3 of these. And then I have a whole bunch of T-Motor F40 Pro 2 stators. Just the stators, no bearings in them. Most of them are 2400 kV. Might be a couple 1600 kV. So if you guys need any of that stuff, let me know. I'll make you a screaming deal. All right. Okay. Here we go. What's next? Reading the Wind says I need those V4s. These are V2s. I need V4s. Oh, the V4 ducts, Reed. Yeah, I'll, shit, I just mailed you something, too. What did I mail it? Did I mail it today? Ooh! Did I mail it? Did I not mail it? Did I mail, not mail? Nope. Remind me, Reed. I'll forget. Denzel the Terrible says better late than never. Indeed it is. Alright, cool. This is a Q&A stream. Feel free to put your questions in the chat, and I'll answer them. Any burning questions that you've had about beta flight, whatever. Life, advice, whatever you'd like. I'll dole it out like it's a soup kitchen up in here. While I'm waiting for that, let's get to work on the Rossi, because I do want to put a little bit more time in to DJI on freestyle rigs, and the Rossi is the rig to do that with. So I'm just moving a couple windows around here, and all right, cool. Reading the Wind says that wait, hold on. Reading the Wind says that he needs those V4 ducts.
No! No, 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 no! No, no, no!
It's fun to watch the volume meter just go. Rainbow Geb says thoughts on Runcam Thumb. Chris Smith 1986 with a $10 super chat. He says you're a superhero. No, you're the superhero, Chris. Thank you so much for supporting the insanity that is trying to do FPV full time. I rely on beautiful people like you. Rainbow, thoughts on Runcam Thumb. Love how cheap it is. Love how lightweight it is. Don't like the quality of the HD. It's bordering on acceptable, to be honest with you. It's almost as good as the Insta360 Go 1, but not quite. I got rid of my Insta360 Go 1 because the quality of the footage wasn't quite good enough for my high standard having ass. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. I like everything about it other than the quality of the footage, which is kind of a big deal. But it's a great little camera. I gave one away that Brain 3D sent over for you guys very recently, and I'm hoping that the person that won it will get some flight footage up. I forget who it was that won it, but yeah, I want to see more flight footage from it. Let me just melt this TPU back together here real quick. So if you didn't know, you can melt TPU. And what do you think the 3D printer does? And so when your TPU like rips or tears, you can melt it back together. I'm going to use the torch. The lighter is a little bit more controlled, but the torch is just going to get it done a lot faster. And yeah, just remember, like, it has weight, so it's going to like flow around. So you want to use gravity to kind of move it around. And yeah, you can melt your shit back together. It's really, really nice. Oh God. Well, that made a mess. Shit. I wish that hadn't happened. Let me just leave that on there for a second or two. No, it needs to stay like that. It takes a long time to cool. Keep that in mind. It takes like way longer than you'd think to cool down and harden all the way. And it does catch fire, so you just blow it out, unless you want it to keep burning. But yeah. I would probably let it keep burning if the camera Logitech lens wasn't an inch away. Although, I don't know. This Logitech can't get any worse, so what the hell. You guys are trying to blow the... You guys are trying to blow the fire out through the internet? I like that. I'm down with that. You can also add TPU to it. So, like, in this case right now, it's not really melting together all that well. It's just sort of melting. So what you can do is stop throwing away your old TPU and just hoard it like a freak like me. And then you can just add a little bit of extra TPU. So, like, I can take this scrap chunk of TPU here, and I can cut off a little area, and I can put that over the spot that's being a jerk right now, and melt it in. Fold it in. You fold it in, David. Just fold it in, Moira. I don't know. You just fold it in. So just fold it in, and you'll be good to go. So this is gonna be a little bit harder. Because, ooh, there it goes. See it melt there? Like a little Band-Aid. Ooh. There you go. Doesn't even have to be the same color. I'm folding in purple with red right now. What madness is this? What kind of a crazy world are we living in? So I'm going to give that a minute to just kind of chill. This little pair of spring-loaded pliers is needle noses are going to become tweezers rather are going to become a part of this. Unfortunately, I got a little bit too enthusiastic with this, but we'll deal with that in a minute. Paul McDonald says, how do you organize your flight footage? Great question, Paul. Put them in folders. Title the folder the year first. Well, here's my naming convention. If it was footage from today, it would be 2022-6 for June, -6 for the date, space, a couple of words that have to do. So if I was flying out in the parking lot today, it would be 2022-6-6 space apartment parking lot, or yeah, something like that. Just a couple of words to tip you off as to what the hell it is. The reason why the year first is because you're going to have footage from multiple years, and so when you have multiple years, the 2021 stuff is going to be up top. 2022 stuff is going to be on the bottom. If you title it with the number of the month first, you're going to have July footage from 2021 with July footage from 2022, and it's just a pain in the ass. That's how I organize my flight footage. Forevermore says, I just tried to blare fire out like it was right in front of me. Daniel Harmon says, what soldering iron do you use? Why do you like it? What don't you like about it? I use the Weller 1010. Weller is like the old school soldering iron company. My dad had a Weller when I was growing up. Weller uses this. It's glued to the not glued, but it's double-sided tape to the desk. But Weller uses a specific type of soldering iron stand, which has like a little coiled wire, and it makes a very specific sound. I'm going to do it a couple times. Maybe you guys can hear it. That sound harkens back to my youth. My father was an electrical engineer for the entire time that I was growing up, and whenever he would solder in the basement, I would hear this sound every time he put his soldering iron away. The only thing that I don't like about this Weller, well, the cost is something to not like. There's a Hacko that's every bit as good for like $30-$40 less. The only thing I don't like about the Weller is that it has an automatic cool down feature, and that automatic cool down feature looks at the temperature from the thermocouple on the tip of the iron, and if the temperature in the tip of the iron doesn't drop down within like 5 or 10 minutes, whatever the hell it is, that's how it cools down. Well, we work on really small components, and a lot of times we won't drop the temperature down that much. I also use copper whatever, Brillo pad for my tip cleaner, and that doesn't bring the temperature down either. Weller expects you to use the little foam sponge that they give you with their stand, and when you use that foam sponge to clean the tip, it drops the temperature down enough. So yeah, when you stop using that foam sponge, sometimes it'll automatically trip the cool down feature, but it only happens like once every 10 minutes, and a lot of times it doesn't even happen, so it's not that big of a deal. I don't know, once every other week it'll automatically cool down on me, and I'll be like, oh, and you just push the button and it comes back up to temperature. It's a great iron. Weller, like their stuff is like this like cool OG blue color, And I gotta be honest, this OG blue color is another big part of the reason that I wanted this. It's just, again, it just reminds me of my youth in this really cool way, and reminds me of my dad, and those are great memories. My dad is still with us, but yeah, didn't want you guys to think it was something like that. CiottiFPV says, I messaged you on Facebook. Sounds good, brother. B-Man says, what's going on here? We're getting the Rossi back up in the air, and I'm showing folks how they can repair TPU. The T100 or T1000 or whatever the hell it is, that portable soldering iron that everybody uses and loves is a great choice. But this handle, to me, is much more comfortable. The TS100 is not a comfortable soldering iron to use. I love this handle and this cord, and just, yeah, this soldering iron is absolutely the jam. I really, really, really love it. Alright, so these tweezers are now absolutely vile. I wonder if I can just torch this TPU off of it. Is it going to drip, or is it just going to evaporate? It's hardening. That's not gone well. Alright, well, that didn't go as planned. I'll tell you what, TPU is some sticky ass stuff, yo. Don't get TPU on anything. It does not come off. I've gotten TPU on a pair of sweatpants that I really loved, and they're just ruined. They're not ruined, but they have a big blob of TPU on them. And I've also gotten it on my skin. Top tip, definitely don't ever get molten TPU on your skin. It burns like a bitch, and then when you go to wipe it off instinctually, it smears, and it takes the top layer of your skin with it, and it's just fucking horrifying, yo. Be careful when you're repairing your TPU. Do not get it on your skin. It is just awful. Seems to be coming off. Yeah, good as new. All set. I use these spring-loaded tweezers to blue titanium, so they've already been like heated to hell and back. I'm gonna put these somewhere safe so that I don't burn the shit out of myself. Alright, cool. So, melted plastic is agony on your skin, Danzilla the Terrible says. So there we go. It's all melted back together. It's kind of cooled down. There's a big hole here from where those tweezers were. But yeah, ready to fight another day. Isn't that fancy? Alright, so what we have left on this build is putting these two motors on, putting that bell on, and then taking the power leads out of this DJI connector on the flight controller and hooking them up to the battery pads. So let's get to work. But again, this is a Q&A stream, so fill the chat up with any questions you've got and drink some wine while you're at it. Glug, 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 glug. Let's do the motors first. That'll be fun. So, what do we got going on here? We got some VHB that's no longer sticky. So let's get that off and replace it. Yeah, there we go. All right, cool. I've finally figured out a way. I used to really struggle to get the wax paper off, or whatever the hell it's called, off of the VHB. What I've realized is that you just need to cut it cleanly. So if you cut it half, like that, and then turn it around and cut the other half, or if you have cutters that are long enough to cut the whole thing at once, that makes getting the little red plasticky paper off much easier. And I just use my fingernails nowadays. I just put like a pinky fingernail on the foam side, and then on the plastic side, and off it comes. Nice and easy. Try not to touch it because the oil from your skin makes it not as sticky anymore. And there you go. And make sure you clean the surface that you're going to stick it onto. I'm going to give it a little spit shine here. Spit is actually used by many folks that spit is a little bit more, cleans a little bit better than just straight water. And so there's a show, at least there used to be a show, I want to say on Netflix, called The Repair Shop. And there's a woman on there that repairs ceramics, like fancy vases and shit like that. And I learned this from her. She cleans the broken parts before. I'm sorry, no. It's there's another woman on there that restores oil paintings, and restoring oil paintings is like really, really wild stuff. And she has she goes from absolute least aggressive to most aggressive when she has to clean these oil canvases. Some of them are worth, quadrillions of dollars. So she takes her time and does it very, very methodically. And her first step is like distilled water, I believe. And then her next step is actually spit. It's where the saying "spit shine" actually came from. And she explains in the one episode that spit is ever so slightly more abrasive, more aggressive than just straight water. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's the end of that story. There's I don't have anything else to say now. I always say, when I cut these down, I always save them. It's really nice to have. Especially these fancy gray T-motor branded ones. Who doesn't want fancy gray T-motor wires on their rigs? Denzel the Terrible says, how much spit would you need for a giant painting? Ew. She just sits there with Q-tips. Actually, since they're in Britain and they're not such a goddamn throwaway culture like we are here in hamburger cheeseburger land, they make their own Q-tips. They have little bamboo skewers and then a thing of cotton, and they spin them around in the cotton. They make their own little Q-tip, and then they just take the cotton off and reuse the stick. Because they actually want their children to have an Earth to live on, since we're not all going to be able to fucking fly to Mars, people. Not that we would want to anyway, because the Mars climate is harsh as shit. So if you think that you don't have to care about climate change because we're just going to end up on another planet, I hate to break it to you, but you couldn't be more wrong. All right, here we go. I always strip wires with my fingernails because your fingernails are less hard than the wires that are inside of the insulation here. So you will never, ever, ever nick or cut one of the inner strands of wire by using your fingernails. And conveniently enough, your fingernails are attached to your fingers, which you bring with you wherever you go. If you use a pair of wire cutters or even those wire strippers, there's always a chance that you're going to nick some of the inner wires, and that's not good. It's not terrible on these motor wires because there's a lot of strands in there. Where it is terrible is 30 gauge wires, because some 30 gauge wires, most 30 gauge wires, only have 8 strands on the inside. So if you nick even just one of those strands, you're decreasing the throughput of that wire by what, 12%? I don't know how the math works out, but I think it's 12. So yeah, don't do that, especially on 30 gauge wires. Use your fingernails. Let's tin this up and get it on there. Hey, look, I got a new flex pen, yo, and it's VOC free. Let's see if it actually works. Let's see if VOCs are required for flex pens to work well. I am a flexin' fool. It just makes all of your work easier and better. So use it every time. Not using Flux for a couple of days really sucked. Like I didn't use Flux for a long time, and then I started using it, and I will never go back. It is absolutely worth the extra 2 to 4 seconds to take your Flux pen out and push it onto whatever you're about to solder. All right, here we go. Let the smoke show begin. Get in there. Come on. There we go. When you're tinning wires, you want to put the tip of the soldering iron on one side, and you want to feed the solder from the other side. What this does is it makes sure that you're getting as much solder as possible in between the individual strands of wire, and that is important. There we go with that. And now we're just going to drop these down onto the pads, holding the soldering iron very flat to get the maximum contact patch to transfer the heat as quickly as possible, and then holding the wire down as flat as possible against the pad so that the wire sits as flat as possible against the pad. That's going to make it a lot stronger. If you've got a big-ass blob of solder and your wire is sitting all up on the pad, if that wire gets pulled, it's going to try to cantilever, might be the word, the pad right off of the PCB. If you have the wire sitting very flat against the pad, it's going to try to just to hang off the edge of the pad, and then the exposed bit of the wires is all you want to be on the pad itself. You'll know when you get it right. The wire will sit very flat, and it looks nice and clean too. Motor 2 is done. Always check your work. If you don't have a little 5X loop like this, scroll down into my description and buy yourself one from Amazon. You need this. Do not solder without this. This is how you check your work. It takes 1 second, and you will see if you have a cold solder or just any other bad situation going on. And the first one that I soldered up is just a little bit off. I'm just gonna rework it real quick, like here. Hold the wire in place, and I'm just gonna put heat on the outside and just kind of pull it in a little bit. It's just kind of hanging off the pad in a way that I don't want it to. That looks much better. But we're gonna check it to be absolutely sure. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. Hold on. Yeah, it's still kind of hanging off the pad. Let me hit it one more time. Get some flux on it this time. Lord Henrik says, do you think upgrading from FR Sky to ELRS, well, I need to adjust my PIDs and rates? Absolutely not. Rates, I mean, I guess maybe. I've heard people say that before, but I think that's kind of insane. You definitely won't have to change your PIDs. Nothing in your radio link really has anything to do with PIDs. Unless you got something set wrong, I guess. But yeah, you don't have to change anything. The difference is like 15 to 20 to 25 milliseconds. And that's on the control link side. Like, your PIDs don't care about that. It's just gonna feel more responsive to you. That's gonna be the only change. All right, so I run these with these arm ends, with these TPU arm ends, to keep them on, to keep them from falling off. I run these conical screws. See the conical head on there? And it kind of, I don't know, these TPU things are made for this. The inside of the TPU matches up with the conicalness, and everybody's happy. Real wordsmith here tonight. These were all Loctited on a previous installation, so they still have the remnants of the Loctite all up in the threads, and that is enough to keep them from backing out. Technically, there's no reason to not reapply. In my case, it's a time thing. It's just quicker to do it this way, and it's totally fine. I mean, if you want to be nuts about it, put Loctite on them on the initial installation, and then once more. 2 applications is plenty of residue to keep them from backing out. I wish I had some extra glide arms, because these 2 front arms are pretty whooped. But Bob is out of stock, and I actually need to bug him again about that, because I messaged him last week about it, and he said they should be in stock. And hey, can somebody hop onto FPV Cycle and see if the Glide frame and or extra arms are back in stock yet? Because I keep getting asked that, and every time that I look, they're still sold out, but I haven't looked in like a week. All right. Yeah, these arms are fucking hammered ass. Oh, I need another screw back here for this arm too. All right, let's get this other motor on, and then I'll deal with the screw situation. This is not quite enough. I want to move this back a little bit. This is not enough extra wire on here. If the arm breaks, it could potentially pull and rip a pad off of this ESC. You always want to give yourself a little bit of extra wire length between the ESC and the race wire, or just the ESC and the motor if you're not doing race wires. So that, yeah, if your arm breaks, it doesn't rip the pads off the ESC. It just takes up the extra slack that's in here. You know what I'm saying? Alright, so then our motor is going to go here. And it's better to put a screw or 2 in the motor to do this, to get the length exactly right. But I've done it enough times that I kind of have a good feel for it. Alright. There we go. And Lord Henrik says, been trying to get a tune so I can go from fast ripping to a smooth orbit without a fight. I can go fast, but as soon as I come into an orbit, I have to fight the quad. Should I adjust PIDs or rates? What do you mean fight the quad? I don't know what that means. I mean, going fast, you just have the nose down. Which, and then when you go into an orbit, you're just kind of coordinating the sticks. There's really nothing in the tune that has anything to do with that. I mean, what I think you're describing is just a piloting thing. I think you just need to practice more on that. As most things are. Like most things are just down to the pilot. Like the tune and rates and stuff like that, they do very, very, very little. A good pilot can take the worst tune and the weirdest rates and make beautiful cinematic footage with it. Sometimes with certain things, the tune and rates might affect it a little bit, but yeah, typically not. But I don't know what you mean by fight the quad. I don't know what that means. But yeah, all the PIDs are doing is keeping like bad behaviors from happening. So if by fights the quad you mean like it starts prop washing, well then the tune can help with that. But I doubt that you mean that. I don't know how fight the quad would possibly mean prop wash. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that means. Oh, shitters. Oh, look at that. There we go. What else is going on in the chat there? Jory FPV says they're still sold out. All right, I'll shoot Bob. Well, if I don't do it right now, I'll forget. Hold on. Let me shoot Bob a message right now. Derpa, 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 derpa. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. All right, cool. I'll let you guys know when Bob gets back to me. B-Man says the frame is available on RDQ, but it's $55.70 and $49 on Pyro. I don't think either one of those have the replacement arms, though, do they? Samuel, didn't you take typing classes in school? In middle school, one of my classes was a typing class, where they made us touch type. I don't touch type though. I type with I look down at the keyboard and I mainly use like these three fingers. I like type with these three. I got a lot of practice typing though in the 20-ish years that I worked in corporate settings as a salesperson and project manager, sending email after email after email after email after email after email. Yeah. Basically my job, sending. What do you do for a living? I send emails, and people don't read them, and then they make mistakes, and then I send them an email about the mistakes, and then they bitch and moan that I didn't tell them, and then I send them a direct quote from the email, and then they come up with another bullshit excuse, and then I try to explain to them that I just don't give a shit whose fault it is or why they made the mistake. I just want to fucking fix it, so that their project can be done and off my plate forever. It doesn't matter when you're wrong, guys. Be wrong. Being wrong is the only way to learn. Yeah. It doesn't matter why you're wrong. You need to be wrong as often as possible. There's nothing more frustrating than somebody that absolutely refuses to admit when they're wrong. It's maddening. And we're all guilty of it. I'm absolutely guilty of it. But I catch myself a lot quicker as I get older. And that shit's important. So yeah, be wrong. It's totally fine to be wrong. Just don't refuse to admit it. Because that kind of makes you an asshole. And nobody likes an asshole. That's what she said. Look at all that flux burning off. So this VOC free flux pen seems to be totally fine. Not a complaint from me. B-Man says no arms available anywhere, but them's got the whole frame there. J-Drone says, hi dude, so you got your flux pen. I did, and I'm in hog heaven, as strange people say. I'm very happy to be back on the flux train. It really just makes everything better. Yeah. Oh! Oh, got a little antsy, did we? Paid for it. Damn. Oh, you know what it is? I turned the temperature of the iron up when I didn't have any flux. Good lord, look how long it's taken to cool. There it goes. This is why I don't like... this is why I don't like the 6327 or whatever the hell it is solder. I don't need the extra time for this shit to cool. I would actually kind of prefer it to cool down even faster than this, to be totally honest. But I mean, this 7030 it's fine. But yeah, that's when you're new though, there's a good case to be made for well, I don't know. I mean, having the solder take longer to cool down, like, you shouldn't be doing anything while the solder is cooling down other than holding still. So yeah, that I think I'm all 100% pro 7030 solder, because it's just wasting time. Like, if you're moving shit around while the solder is cooling and you need that extra time, you're doing it wrong. You should be dead still when the solder is cooling down, because that's how you prevent cold solder joints. That third one doesn't have quite enough solder on it, so let's just put some on the tip here, and then we'll see if we can add it to the joint. There we go. And let's take a look. All right, good to go. Happy with that. B-Man says, "Why ever leave the flux train? Make sure it's so much easier." Ran out. My flux pen ran out. Okay, why do I only have 2 of these screws? There should be a third one. I took this rig apart and I put all the hardware right there. Where'd the third screw go? That's a little weird. Unless this is not the right length screw. No, it is. Weird. Okay. Trying to read Daniel Harmon's post. Daniel Harmon, are you a fan of Community or Rick and Morty? If so, do you know where I'm going with this? You might. You might. Who's working on something in chat? What are you working on? Give us the specs, god damn it. Alright, so I need to get a couple of screws here. I need to get a screw for this arm and a third screw for this motor. So let's dive in. These little containers are great. You can get them on Amazon. I recommend you get a bunch. They fit in your flight bag really well. They give you a reach around when you need it most. Wait, no, they don't. They give it to you when you need it the least. That's it. There we go. That's good. And it even has some Loctite residue on it. All right, so now I need a screw for the outer arm bolt. I always run extra long ones to get a little bit of extra contact with the aluminum standoffs, because aluminum loves to strip. So that's not long enough. So the way I have this set up, this is like 4 millimeters long, 5... is that how I have it set up? I think this is 10. So I think it's 10... No, wait. These are 9. These are M3 by 9. So it's 9, 8, 7... 6, 5, 4? Yeah. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14. So I use M3 by 14 on these outer Glide arm bolts. This has some residue on it. And then I put them into these little aluminum collar washers for a little pop of color. And there's a chance that they spread the load out a little bit. The outer arm bolts are the ones that take the absolute battering of all batterings. And so I crank them down hard as shit. And when you're doing that, this little aluminum, in theory, spreads that force out a little bit because it's bigger than the head of the screw itself. So I don't know. I did them because they look cool. As well as that, Impulse RC has included these in all their frames. So I also kind of thought, well, if Impulse does it, maybe it actually has some sort of performance advantage because they've been making frames for a long time and they certainly seem to know what they're doing. So yeah. Spread that load, Airwave Ant says. Great Southern says, I'm working on my Recon 5 filming drone for the stunt show this Sunday. Very cool. 661 says, I have a problem building quad number 11 tonight. Rebuilding my Pickpocket 3-inch, all new parts. Very cool as well. Ugellan says, just organize all my props by clockwise and counterclockwise type and color. I love that. I do clockwise and counterclockwise. I don't do color. I do type. I love when people say do. Vigno FPV says, out of context a little bit, but what are the motors on your cinesplore and how much is your flight time with an 854S and dry weight? I have a smatterassing of motors at the moment. I have one of them with a set of Axis 2204s, one of them with a set of old school Brother Hobby VY 2004s, and I have another one with a set of Newbie Drone 2004s. I can't tell a difference between any of them. The Axis powers are the highest KV, so I have them motor scaled down a little bit. I'm really looking forward to a special set of FPV cycle 2104s that are coming in, hopefully next week, in 3500 KV. Those are going to be, I'm going to buy 3 sets of those and put them on all the cinesplores. I'm probably going to have 4 sets. I don't know what the dry weight is, but we'll look. Dry weight without the GoPro or a battery, and I get about 5 minutes with a 4S850. It depends on how much ground I'm covering, but typically it's about 5 minutes. It depends pretty heavily on how much ground I'm covering, though, to be honest with you. $264 dry weight. I go pretty hard on keeping these things lightweight, though. I have like titanium hardware in them and shit like that. This is the Tooth Fairy 2, very, very similar to the cinesplore, damn near identical. This one is $275, and the third cinesplore doesn't have ducts on it, so it doesn't really count. I had a feeling you already knew that, Daniel. Oh yeah, it is a different spelling. I didn't even realize it's spelled differently. Do you listen to his podcast that's no longer on, but there are a billion episodes, and it is arguably the best part. It is arguably the best podcast
in the world.
I hate that I can't hear it now. I gotta be honest. I hate it. You guys get all the goodness. I get none of it. Motors are on, screws are on. I think they're all cranked down. Let's get the power for the Vista changed. Dan's podcast is called Harmontown, and there's also a documentary that used to be on Netflix by the same name, Harmontown, which is just phenomenal. The podcast shows his life and I'm sorry, the documentary shows his life and the podcast. It's just awesome. He is quite the character, that Dan Harmon. Yeah, I need a little bit of foam for this fresh arm that I put on here. I'll be using the Impulse RC foam. It is absolutely magical. Just magical, my friends. About that much. That's the right amount. Okay, cheers, my friends. Reading the Wind just swapped an ESC on an AOS Falcon 7 and flight controller on a Prototype 5. Very cool. Very cool, brother. Hey, you guys, if you were paying attention, I updated the names, the top patron names on the opening screen, and Reading the Wind in chat is now on there. He is a new Ultra supporter. Much love, my friend. Alright, and I've been putting these, I only run 3 screws, and then I put the foam where the fourth screw would normally be. It's a nice little spot for it, really far out on the arms. I used to put it in here, but it's kind of a pain in the ass in there. I like it out here. Kind of put it anywhere, it doesn't really matter, but alright, cool. Why is this so fucking... Why is this so wobbly? What's happening? What is that about? Hold on. Something's going on here. Your quad should sit flat on the back. Well, so this foam is all smashed. Yeah, okay. This foam is all smashed down and rubbed away. This foam is fresh. That's why it's doing that. Man, it is doing it a lot, though. Oh, and it's doing it. Hold on, there's something going on. Something ain't right. What's happening? What's happening, little friend? Why are you so angry? Oh, and I put a screw in the outer here. Oh, okay, this is not screwed down. This screw is too long, by the way. I gave you the wrong screw length. The outer arm screws don't go into the standoff. The inner arm screws go into the standoff. The outers go into the press nuts, and going a little bit longer is stupid because it's just gonna pop up above the press nut, and there's no reason to do that. My bad. See, look at that, guys. I was wrong, and now I'm copping to it and fixing the error, and now we've all learned something. Myself, I mean, I didn't really learn anything, but yeah, be wrong, yo. Just be wrong. Over and over and over again in life. Be wrong, learn from it. If it affected someone else, apologize. Tell them you love them. And they'll love you back before you know it. Promise. Those are for the top plate. That's the standoff that I need. That's why that's not on there, because the standoff ain't in it to win it. This aluminum thing's being a little weird. Nah, there it goes. It's fine. Okay. Still a little bit baffled as to why this thing was sitting flat, because this screw is not out far enough where it was hitting the ground, I don't think. But let's throw this. No, let's not throw this standoff on, because I need to get access to the battery pads to solder down the power lead. Let's actually remove this screw. Well, it's fine. It's almost all the way removed. All right, so I need to be able to get on here. So in order to do that, I'm going to have to remove this receiver, unfortunately. And I'm going to put fresh VHB on it. I don't love the way that I have this receiver mounted in this rig. The Vista takes up all the space in the back where I would normally mount the receiver. So, but the top of the ESC is kind of the only spot. I can't mount it to the top of the flight controller because I need that thing to be, free floating. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the best mounting solution is quite yet for the receiver. It might actually be where it is. Actually, it would be better to put it under the ESC, but then it would be a bitch to get to the button. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know quite yet. But what I do know is that this is going to be a little bit fiddly to get this removed. Technically, I could just cut this, but I'm not going to do that. Let's see if I can pull this off. Literally and figuratively. I love how the definition of literally has completely changed because of Barney Stinson. Because of a character on a fucking show, the definition of literally has just gone straight to hell. The power of entertainment and just like media in general, I guess. How many people in chat are or were fans of How I Met Your Mother? I rewatched it recently. It was still pretty goddamn good. Held up really well. I have not checked out How I Met Your Father, whatever the hell it is. The spinoff. I just assumed that it was horrible. Can anybody confirm whether or not it's horrible? All right, there we go. So those are out of there. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut them. I'm going to cut it back here, but I'm going to save these because they have these, the ends, you know, crimped on or whatever. I have a problem with my nose right now. Benjamin West says, is the slammed build worth the hassle? Not really. This same build on 20mm standoffs, it's not going to be quite as durable, but it's going to be plenty durable. This is, yeah, I mean, the slam thing is fun, but it's kind of a pain in the ass. And I've got to run, like, these are 16mm standoffs that I got from eBay, and this Caddx camera up front is actually a little bit too big for them, so I have to run a 1mm spacer on top, which is not the best thing. It's kind of fine, but yeah, I'm going to leave this set up like this, but if I do another one of these DJI builds, I'll just do it on 20mm standoffs and just be done with it. This is this is sort of proving that it can be done. And it is a slightly more durable like this. Like a lower standoff will absolutely be a little bit more durable because it's a shorter lever. But the having to run the 1mm spacer up front kind of blows. But if you're a crazy person, do it. You're gonna love it. Let me figure out which wires are the power leads. So it should be this one. So if I wiggle it, okay, it's that one, and it's that. So it's these two. Okay, so it's this one and this one, and okay, so that's that. So it's that one there. So I'm going to grab that. Yeah, there it goes. All right, cool. So I got that. I'm just going to pull this guy out. And I was just about to say, hopefully it doesn't get caught on anything, as it got caught on something. So there we go. All right, so we got one. And now I just need to find a black wire that's going forward, and that's that one. And I'm going to pull this one up through here. Oh, and this one just immediately got stuck. Awesome. Great. Grand. Wonderful. No yelling on the bus. I just rewatched that movie as well. Did not hold up as good as I'd thought. I didn't really think that it would hold up good. But man, did it not hold up at all. So, okay, I'm gonna probably route this under. Maybe just route it around there. No, yeah, I'll route it under there. So when I pull it tight, I'm gonna give it like another, I don't know, half an inch, let's say. I don't want it to be too long, but I want a little bit extra. And then with the red one, it's going to get run under this black power lead. Let's actually do that now. And same kind of deal, pull it tight and then cut it like half an inch or so beyond where it needs to be. And then I'm going to save these two little guys because they have the... the little crimped on ends. You know what I'm saying? Yo. That Veronica Vaughn is one... Is that the exact quote? Isn't it like, is one fine piece of ace? I know from experience. No, you don't. Well, my brother... What does he say? My brother? That Veronica... I will say this, though. I will say this. That Veronica Vaughn is one nice piece of ace. I don't remember her being quite so fine, let's just say. I was like, oh, yo, okay. And then they got into a fight in the pool, and she was wearing a white shirt. And I was like, oh, I gotta go. I'll be back in like 10 minutes. That Veronica Vaughn is one nice piece of ace. I know. From mental experience. Alright, I'm going to do something a little sketchy, but I'm going to make it less sketchy by doing a little something. Every once in a while, you will have to solder right on top of an electrical component. So look, do this. This is super easy, and it'll prevent little tiny solder blobs that you don't see from fucking your shit up. Get you some masking tape, and masking tape over the part of the, in my case, ESC, that you're going to be soldering directly on top of. Just sneak it on in there, and you're 10,000 times safer than you were a minute ago. Cool. Protect your shit. Protect your neck, bro. Alright. I'm not cool enough to say bruh. Only the ultra cool people can say bruh. Only the people that are cooler than they know what to do with. Reading the Wind says, switch to ELRS, never need a bind button again, and receivers are itty bitty. I'm still a fan of 900 megahertz, but ELRS is pretty damn good. Arizona says, is it bad to double side tape things to the flight controller like the receiver? It is, Arizona. It's not the end of the world. I've done it before. It's been fine, but you don't want to because the flight controller has the gyro on it. The gyro is extremely sensitive. Ideally, your flight controller and your gyro are just floating in space with nothing really affecting them. So by double siding tape by double-sided taping shit to it, you're just prevent it from floating in space. You want the flight controller to sit here, and you want the quad to be able to vibrate underneath it, and you want it to stay nice and floaty and free. The more shit you put on it and the more wires you have connected to it, the more that it's going to want to move with the frame. So you want the least amount of wires hooked up to your flight controller. The wires that are hooked up to it, you want them to be as thin and as bendable and malleable as possible. And you want to ideally not double-sided tape other shit. The worst case scenario is that you double-sided tape your receiver to the top and the receiver develops a little vibration on its own, and then that vibrates the flight controller only in one direction, right? The receiver is rectangular, so it's going to want to vibrate on its short side, and that's going to just potentially give you, like in my case, it would be a pitch vibration, and that it's just bad. You just don't do it if at all possible. Jackalope says, how much for that quad in front of you? $2,000, because I don't want to sell it, and because it was a bitch to build and continues to be a bitch to build. But for $2,000, I would do it again. I think. I do have those 3 for sale glide builds that I do need to finish, and I will be finishing before I move out of this place. So stay tuned for those if you really do want to buy a glide built by me. They're going to be going up on eBay with like a $300 or $100 or something starting bid, and it's going to be a 7-day auction that ends during a live stream. So hopefully there'll be a fun little bidding war, and hopefully I can get $800+ out of them, because when I look at like how much time I'm putting into it and what I charge typically for my time, that would be about the right number. But maybe they'll go for more than that. It depends on how much money people are willing to waste on something they could absolutely build themselves. Come on, get in here. Get on up. Little buddy, get on up. Come on. You can do it. There you go. All right. So, we're going to do the ground first. And remember, it's all prep with soldering. Your wire should be exactly where you want it. Everything should be good to go before the tip of your soldering iron comes down. So I got the wire exactly where I want it. I'm going to flux the whole goddamn joint. This is going to be the 4th wire connected to this pad, which I don't love doing, but I mean, it's not the end of the world. I'm going to use the tweezers to hold the wire nice and still, and then I'm going to bring the soldering iron down to just apply heat. And this is the ground pad, so we're going to be, so I'm no longer tinning above these pads, so we're good now. I'm just going to look for a good chunk of this to melt. You don't necessarily need the entire joint to melt in this case. You certainly can, but when you have a bunch of wires on one joint like this, it can be hard to keep all those wires on if you melt the whole joint. So what you can do is just get like a big enough kind of, and you know, the question then becomes like, how big is big enough? I don't really have an answer for you, but yeah, and see, it's already starting to happen where like this wire that goes to the race wire, the constant on LED moved in a way that I don't want it to move. So now I have to come back in here and all right, so a nice chunk of the joint did melt there. Still not super happy with it though. So I'm just gonna keep sort of applying heat here, and that's looking a little bit better. There we go. All right. So enough of it melted where it's kind of smooth. It's a little bit ugly, but it should be fine. Yeah, that's totally fine. So like roughly the top third of the big ball of solder kind of melted and then rehardened. And that's kind of usually what I do. This is the main reason why I hate to have to put multiple wires on the same thing here, because like, you can't. Best case scenario is that you melt the entire joint so that the whole thing is good, but it's almost impossible to kind of do that and not have at least one of the wires move around. And then you go back and you hold that wire in place and one of the others moves, and then you go back and hold that in place and one of the others moves, and it's not great, but yeah, you can get it. Melting like the top half of the joint is not enough to really weaken the big thick motor wires that we have and create like a cold solder situation. But again, it's not great. It's not the end of the world, but it's also not great. So, yeah. I wish that these ESC manufacturers would put a big set of pads and then a couple of small sets of pads. You know, that would be really nice. But I understand why they don't. I really do. Wait, no, I don't. Why did I say that? I don't understand why they do. Why they don't. I guess maybe it's because there's not enough space, but fuck that. Come on. We need it. We need it! Oh, I just remembered what I was going to do. God damn it. What I was going to do, on these Acon ESCs, on the wire header, there are two VBAT and ground outputs. And I was going to use those to power this. But what I don't know, what I was going back and forth about whether or not to do that. I like the idea of powering the Vista from right here because this is really close to the capacitor. These VBAT and ground pads up here in the connector, they're just farther away from the capacitor. So, I don't know. I wanted to do it on those to test that, though. I wanted to feed it from this plug header and see if it still had the problem. And then if it still had the problem, I was going to then move it back here. But I forgot. So there's that. Imp FPV says Gesundheit. Thank you, brother. B-Man says no, I don't. But a buddy of mine got it on Wowie. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. But you could. That's it. But you could imagine if they did. If they did, right? That's it. That's the whole. Blue painter's tape was just because I was tinning those wires right above the ESC. Yeah, I didn't want it to. Wow, Jackalope's not kidding when he tags me in the chat and says, "Cool, just sent you PayPal for $2,000." Oh, that came through Patreon. Wait, what? Oh no. Okay, all right, he was kidding. That's wild. My email is behind a little bit. Okay, we're good. I was gonna say, Jesus Christ, man! I didn't actually want to sell this to you. Etsy, Iric, FPVsearchitall.com. Nice. All right, cool. Hey, Remy Tim, if you're watching, Stuart is gonna be checking on my Get FPV stuff. He just replied back to me. Derp. Okay, cool. All right, I'll get this back up here, and I think I'm done. That's good. These wires are kind of gangly, but I mean they were gangly before, so that's fine. Oh wait, no, these are gangly because I'm putting the receiver there now. really wish there was a better spot to put the receiver, but there really isn't. The glide frame is, I guess it's kind of okay with digital in it, but it's better with analog. It's just perfect with analog. It's got the perfect amount of space in the rear for the capacitor. With digital in it, it's a little cramped in here. There's not a great spot for the capacitor. This is kind of fine here. You might also be able to fit the capacitor here. But yeah, it's not. I don't know. I don't know. So let's get this standoff back in it before I forget. Oh no! We got to get this. We got to get this receiver back down on the ESC. What the hell my allergies have just been such a shit show lately. Cutting a big fat piece of VHB for this receiver because there's really no way to zip tie this receiver down the way I'm mounting it here. You just have to rely on the VHB, which is totally fine. The VHB is strong as hell, and the receiver is light as hell, so it's completely fine to do it this way. But I always like to have VHB as well as a zip tie, just for that, extra bit of love. But to be honest, I can't possibly imagine this Crossfire Nano ever coming off of here with this VHB. Especially because the ESC will get a little bit warm, and that'll kind of warm up the VHB, and that really helps it stick like crazy. So yeah, this is fine. But here's where I'm putting it for anybody that's curious, if anybody's going to carbon copy this build. Putting it right on the back of the ESC there. Metal Dirt Skin has arrived. I did not, Metal. Jackalope was kidding. Jackalope was kidding, but my Patreon sent me money today, and it was roughly that same amount. I was like, holy shit, okay. Okay, cool. So we're good on the receiver side of things. And that's good. Oh, I need to plug this in. That is going to help. So that is only carrying signal now on that plug header back to the Vista. Okay. And let's get the Crossfire antenna out of the way so I don't pinch it when I put this standoff on. Hold the standoff down and make sure it doesn't slide back in there. And here we go. So this is the screw that I run extra long. This screw is actually flat against the bottom plate right now. That, what you're looking at there, that amount of exposed thread, that is how much thread is going to run up into this standoff. That makes it very, very strong. The standoffs are aluminum and they absolutely will strip out. So yeah, I always run slightly longer hardware up into the standoffs. It really, really, really helps them. And the big thing that it does is it allows you to fucking crank these down. If I were to crank this down this hard with the regular thread engagement on the standoff, after doing that like 5 or 6 times, which happens pretty quickly with me because I crash a lot, it would just pull the threads right the hell out of that. Right out of that standoff, which is not the end of the world. You just replace the standoff. They're cheap. They're readily available, but it's just one more fucking thing to go wrong out in the field, and then you can't fly. I need something. What did I just... oh, I need motor stuff. I need the reason why I haven't put this extra bell on is because it doesn't have the little O-ring. I also need to raid my TPU to see if I have another Session 5 mount for this thing. I might actually need to order another red Session 5 mount. Alright, well I have this purple one which I can use for now, but I do need another red one because the Rossi is a red rig. Unless I have one on the other rigs? No, I do not. So yeah, I need to order another red Session 5 mount. And I think I'll try a Brain 3D one this time. I'll also try to talk Brian into making me one with the little extra rubber baby buggy bumper on the front, like the Apex mount that he sent me. All right, so yeah, what I need is this little green O-ring and one of these little washers here. So let's get that going. I like to just cut the corner out of these bags so that I can sneak what I want out and the rest can stay. So I need that little guy, and then I need this little washer. Come on, you jerk! Come on! There it goes. I didn't say it was easy. I just said that's what I do. There we go. Alright. Motor box can go away. Good hang and read. Let me know when you want to have our next call, my man. So on these F40 Pro 4s, the little green O-ring goes on there first, and then the little washer next, and then you put it down in the bell, making sure that you don't lose the washer when you're putting it down. And then the other thing that I need from that motor box is a screw. God damn it. Gotta get that same little bag out again. I want to kick in the nuts. And it's the little short screw. There it is. The little short guy. Get out of there, you little fucker. Oh, shit. I don't want you. These are, if you order the new T-motors, they come with M3x9 screws, which are really nice. Because they're hard to find otherwise. I've actually never seen M3x9 screws. So shout out to T-motor for doing that. That way, if you have 6mm arms or 5mm arms, the screws will both work. Or if you've got 5mm arms and you're running TPU arm guards, they'll be long enough. Really nice little touch on their part to kind of realize that. Christ, I feel like a lot of motors come with M3x7 screws, which are barely long enough for 4mm arms, and like, who the hell's still doing 4mm arms? Whenever you do that, always spin the motor to make sure it spins free. The one of the big benefits of this little O-ring setup is you can crank that motor screw, that bell screw down on the bottom, and the motor will still spin freely. Get back on there. Do I not have another nut? Guess not. Go in here and grab one real quick. Hopefully there's one of the right ones. Yeah, there we go. Yep, that's a T-motor one. The T-motor nuts are ever so slightly taller, which protects the threads a little bit more. All right, and I think that's it. No, let me put some zip ties on these race wires. I've been using these little zip ties on the race wires lately, and unbelievably, they've not been breaking. I can't really explain that. I absolutely thought that they would break, but I don't know. I don't fly much freestyle anymore, so maybe it's because I'm just not flying enough, but I'm trying to fly more now, so maybe they'll start breaking. Maybe they won't. And I just throw these guys. Let me do this. Let me clean this shrimp wrap a little bit to let these LEDs shine through a little bit better. I just use a toothbrush and some isopropyl. And just give them a little scrubby. And the grass comes right off. Yeah, look at that. This rig has blue on the rear because the engines in the Expanse run blue, and then red in the front because Rocinante red, yo. Great Southern FPV and RC says, do you have an opinion on what brand is best for singular ESCs? I have to assume that it's going to be Acon. Acon makes individuals, and I don't see a reason that Acon would only be the best manufacturer of all-in-ones. You know what I mean? Like, Acon just strikes me as a company that doesn't spend any money on marketing and puts all of the money into the quality of their shit. And yeah, their stuff is really good quality. Every once in a while, like, I've noticed, I've found companies like this in all different hobbies that I've been in. Like companies that, you know, most people don't know about, but they're just busy making good shit. And they're happy to just make good shit. Rather than being obsessed with, you know, there's this obsession, especially here in the U.S., with, like, if you're, the saying is, if you're not growing, you're dying. And it's just this unbelievable obsession in business with exactly that. Like having a business that's sustainable, that just works and makes good shit and has employees and good customer service, like, that's unacceptable. Like, that's, here in America, that's considered to be a dying company. The rest of the world is not really like that. The rest of the world realizes that, like, you know, grow your company exactly the way that you want it, and, like, the end. Like, it's not just this, like, bigger, rah, 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 more, right? Like, that's uniquely us, man. That is us cheeseburger eating, you know, child at school killing maniacs. And it's nice that it's nice to know that other parts of the world are not as short-sighted as us with that. Or not. It's not short-sighted. It's just greed, to be really honest, right? In my opinion, at least. I don't know. What do I know? Just a 40-year-old moron that is on the internet. Okay. We're almost there. Almost there. I cut these in half so that they fit in the little jar that I put garbage in better. Last one. Up here. Oops. Come on. Come on, little buddy. There we go. I put these either in between the LEDs or on some of the race wires. There's a little spot for you to run a second set of race wires, and I'll put it there. I just try not to put these right on top of the LED chips themselves, because those LED chips can and will get knocked off. So better to not make that process even quicker by cramming down on them with a zip tie. All right, we're there. We're gonna throw the top plate on, and that's gonna be it for this one. Right after 12 o'clock. Good deal. All right. me see if this thing will sit flat on the table now. She was fucking bugging me before. Just bugging the fuck out of me. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Yeah, now it's fine. That was weird. I genuinely do not know why it was doing that before. That was kind of strange. So there it is, friends. There's the Rossi. Ready to be abused some more. Ooh, ooh, ooh. This antenna has not been prepped. The seam on the cap of this antenna is on the bottom here. So we need to put a piece of shrimp wrap over that seam. Otherwise, the first hard slam, the cap of this will pop right off. And once the cap pops off, the internals of the antenna are never far behind. I'm going to use this... I usually use the rubbery shrimp wrap. I'm going to use this crinkly, harder PVC, I think, based shrimp wrap this time. See how that works. No, I'm not, because it's not big enough. Fuck off. All right. I'll take out my little FPV crate shrimp wrap kit that came in the most recent box. And is this big enough? Doesn't look like it. Nope. It's not big enough. Maybe this one will be. Let's see. All right. Almost big enough. I can stretch it to make it work. If you didn't know, you can stretch shrimp wrap to and then it'll shrink back down. It'll shrink back down to where it would have. So you cut your shrimp wrap to the size you want it, to the length that you want it. This is also a way to get it to shrink up even harder, because it's going to shrink all the way back down. So you can use slightly too small shrimp wrap and then stretch it to fit, and then when you shrink it back down, it'll shrink down to a smaller size than if you'd gone to a bigger piece of shrimp wrap. So open it up, and then you take your favorite pair of needle nose pliers and you just stretch it. And you want to be careful when you're doing this because it's easy to rip it. But yeah, you just stretch it and then rotate it, because you're not stretching the part that's on the jaws. And now I bet you it'll fit. Nope, not quite. You also want to rotate it to stretch both sides out, because the tips of your needle nose pliers are wider on one side than the other. You also want to be quick when you're done stretching it like this. Try to get it right on there, because it tries to return back to its original shape pretty quickly. So there we go. Now we're good. We got it on there, and I'm just going to hang it a little bit below the seam, and that looks about right. And then we'll just hit it with a little bit of fire, and this antenna will be prepped. This is what I call prepping the antenna. It just makes it a little bit more durable. It makes it a lot more durable to do this, if I'm honest. This makes a really big difference. If you're not doing this to your antennas, they're going to break prematurely. So do this to your antennas. And there we go. Little piece of shrimp wrap. Whoops. Little piece of shrimp wrap. Man, is that hard to see because it's clear. There you can kind of see it. And it just shrimps up to the bottom like that. It's made from really hard shrimps. That's it. That's it. You guys got it all figured out. Top plate, where you at? There you is. slightly whoa, okay, all the way broken top plate. No, not all the way broken, but it's broken half the way through. So we're gonna replace this top plate. Oh yeah, that's real soft there. Oh, there it goes. That broke all the way through. All right, so we're gonna swap out this top plate while we're at it. I'm filled with splendid ideas, Cool Cat, if you were talking to me. Terminal Insanity says, what kind of crash cause that? Most inverted crashes. Inverted crashes will slam on the GoPro first, and then that puts all that energy into the front of the frame. So this is a very common failure point for frames. Luckily, the Glide has the front standoffs jacked into the arms, so the front of this frame is really strong. But yeah, this is also an old school Glide top plate, so this has been through a lot of abuse. The new school Glide top plates look a little bit different. So this is probably like over a year old, and in terms of like years, my God, that is a lot of abuse. A lot of abuse. Christ, it's probably closer to 2 years old, to be honest. So where are my? There they are. I have a whole shitload of extra Glide top plates, actually. And when you're putting a top plate on, you always want to make sure that you knock the edges off of the battery strap slots. This is a oh, I can use this new. So the new school top plate actually accepts multiple different, two different bolt patterns for the GoPro mount. It's got a separate set of holes up here for the cinesplore, which you can put press nuts into. And this is for the cinesplore TPU. The only issue I have with that is that's going to stress this out even more. The Glide TPU mounts to the standoff holes, and it, in theory, is going to spread the load out a little bit more. But it is just TPU, so it is just going to sort of bend. I don't know if it's actually any stronger. Tempted to run this, and then I can run cinesplore TPU on this thing. No, not gonna do that. Gonna run the old school ones. Because I have them on the other Glides, and there is a chance that it's more durable. And this rig is going to get the absolute hell beaten out of it, so I'm not going to do anything that... So just feel your strap slots. Some manufacturers will bevel the edges of the frames. This outer edge here is actually beveled, which is great, but you also want to bevel the inner edges of these. So, and you don't have to do much, man. Just grab a little diamond file, and you're just going to give it a little once-over. You just don't want it to be sharp. Carbon fiber has a tendency to be like really, really sharp. Technically, you should do this under the faucet, but I'm really not doing much here. I'm just really quickly knocking this edge down. And I just do all of them. You really don't need to do all of them. You just need to do the ones that are related to where the strap goes. But I just do all of them because it doesn't take any time. All right. Just real quick here. No big deal. And we'll do the other set. All right, and then the back side. This is actually really important. Don't skip this. Your battery straps will absolutely rip, and when your battery strap rips, your battery is probably going to go flying, and that's going to unplug your quad, and that is one of the best ways to lose a quad. An unplugged quad is mighty hard to find, so don't do it. Take the friggin' 60 seconds to do this. And it'll make your battery straps last way, 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 way longer. And then just wipe all the carbon shards out. And away you go. And now you can just kind of run your finger over it, and you'll feel there's just a huge difference. It's just nice and smooth now, and you're looking for any sharp spots, and we're good. If you want, I mean, technically, yeah, I'm gonna knock down this outer edge too, because the strap slot on this goes over the outside and up through the middle, and then over, so that this edge down here, it is a little bit beveled. I'm just gonna knock it down a little bit more though, just to be completely insane. So it sits up like this, and the strap comes over like that. So I'm just gonna do this over here real quick. That's all. I wiped it off on the carpet. Whatever, it's fine. The carbon fiber dust, like what I just created, you don't want to get it into your lungs. It's really bad. But so as long as you like do it away from your face and try not to like breathe it in, you should be fine. Technically speaking, anytime you do what I just did, you should do it under running water. But realistically, like we're just doing such a small little area that it should be totally fine. Rubbing it into the carpet like that is so that these won't create splinters. The carbon fiber splinters come from big chunks. I just did that backwards. Come from big chunks of big long chunks of carbon. So putting it into the carpet, putting this carbon fiber dust into the carpet is not going to give me splinters. Carbon fiber splinters come from like when you bash the shit out of the ends of your arms, and then you're like working with the end of the arm, and then it, one of the little tubes, one of the little carbon tubes, goes ramming into your hand, and man, it sucks. Carbon fiber splinters can go to hell. I run a plastic buckle up front because the ESC is right below it. And then usually I run a plastic buckle on the rear too to save weight. But I do like these FPV cycle battery straps, so I've been running these in the rear. There's nothing below this battery strap in the rear that has exposed contacts that it can make explode. Wearing a mask is a great idea. Dan, we all have masks now, right? We all have KN95 masks in our lives, so it would make an awful lot of sense to just do that. It's a great idea. All right, so let's get some screws in the TPU here, and then we'll get the top plate on. And I didn't really change anything on this rig, so there's no need to test hover it or anything like that. I mean, I'll put power to it, but nothing has changed in the flight controller or the ESC. It was just physical damage to the arms and then swapping all the motors out. I moved this rig from F40 Pro 2s to now F40 Pro 4s, and from what I remember, they do spin in the same direction. I hope. put power to it though to make sure that it's not jacked up. And one of the other things that you can do to make sure you don't have a short in your motors is just spin them. If there's a motor that doesn't spin freely, it potentially has a short. If you're wondering what that would be like, just short the motor pads. Put a screwdriver in between two of the motor pads and spin the motor, and you'll notice that it barely spins. Versus unshorted, it spins like crazy. We can actually do it while it's spinning. Ready? While it's spinning, see it stop? Big difference. Very, very easy to know if your motors are shorted or not. I will use the Vi-Fly just out of safety. If you have a smoke stopper that's not a Vi-Fly, get rid of it. This is the only smoke stopper that actually works. Put it in your flight bag. You never use a smoke stopper in the field. Good to go. That big, bright rear blue LED still works even after that horrendous crash. That is very impressive. As does everything else, I'll bet. So the last thing to check would be the motor rotation, but I'm probably just going to skip that and assume that it's okay. Rear 4 screws going on first, and then I'll deal with the super annoying 1mm spacer in the front situation next. And then we'll wrap it up. Airway Vant says, is that a clear XT60? It is. Pyrodrone sells them. I do not recommend them. For whatever reason, the battery does not plug all the way into them. If you do push really hard and plug the battery all the way in, it is damn near impossible to unplug the battery. They're just, yeah, just get the yellow ones or the black ones. They work better. These clear ones are cool in theory, but yeah, they're just annoying. I gotta get that. Man, this was my chance to remove that. But man, it is a pain in the ass to remove an XT60 and solder a new one on. All right, so what I need to do to make this camera fit. What's this sitting up on? Hold on, why is this not sitting down flat? Something hitting here? No. Weird. This top plate just naturally has a little bit of a bend to it. That's strange. Whatever. Yeah, I need to put these guys. So let's do this. I'm going to push these guys up and out. Oh, come on, really? Turn these guys up and out. And I'm going to put the rear ones in to pull this top plate down a little bit. And then I can sneak the little washers in there. So I'm going to put these guys on, and I'm going to crank these rear ones down a little bit to get this thing started. Let me use a bigger screwdriver real quick. All right, there we go. So let's get this going. All right, there it is, and this one going as well, just so that they don't become super uneven. There we go. I caught the threads. Come on. Go, 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 go. All right, cool. So this is going to pull this top plate down a little bit. And go back over to the other side. I don't want to tweak this thing too bad. Oh, God. Come on. I run longer hardware on the top here as well as the bottom. Again, just to make sure it's nice and strong in the standoffs, because the standoffs are aluminum and they do strip. All right, there we go. So the back ones are good. So now the front has a little bit of tension, so I could just take this little plastic 1 mil spacer. The 1 mil spacer is because this Caddx Polar Nano is just a little bit too tall for these 16 millimeter standoffs. And there are no, or at least I was unable to find any 17 millimeter standoffs that weren't like brass, which we don't want. Too heavy, and I don't know if it's I don't know the difference in strength between brass and aluminum, but I wouldn't want them for the color. Because as we know, if you ain't gonna fly good, you at least gotta look good. CiottiFPV 2022. Fuck that. 2016. I think that's when I started flying. 2015, 2016? 2016, I think I started flying. All right. Good to go. The Rocinante is back in the game, my friends. Might need to reverse the motor rotation, but I think it's on 4.3, so I can do that in beta flight. Didn't change anything other than motors and arms and wiring, so no need to do a sketchy test hover indoors. I will take this out to a beautiful spot here in Atlanta and pound the shit out of it. Man, it looks stupid with this purple TPU on it. Got to get that out. Got to get some red TPU on this guy to match the rest of the build. The bottom of this is a little stringy, so what I like to do is just torch it a little bit, just to kind of help it all stick together. Might make it a little stronger, might not. Might not make a difference. Makes me feel better though. No, don't catch on fire. There we go. That makes me happy. Let me get the inside too. This is BMC 3D TPU. All right. Cool. That's it, my friends. Put some props on it and bang the shit out of it, and hopefully it doesn't freeze when I knock into stuff. Whoop Wednesday is gonna have both of those. So don't miss that shit. Is 30,000 kV too much? Not enough? Just enough? The Rossi will give us the answer. Is it too much? No! It's just enough! It's gonna be great! That's the stupidest thing I've ever done
in the world.
Woo. There it is, people. Thanks for hanging. Jackalope, no test hover. It's I didn't change anything on the flight controller or anything. It is good to go. Didn't get through my wine because I don't like wine. What do you think of that? TPU is still boiling hot. It's incredible how it how much it holds on to heat. These are no longer hot, and looks like all that TPU burned off, so we're good to go. All right, friends, I love you. Thanks for hanging out. My name's Aaron Ciotti. Head on over to CiottiFPV.com and just click all the goddamn buttons, because it's hard to be a full-time FPV pilot, and you guys told me that you love this content, so the only way to make this content continue is to give me a little bit of your money. So, you know, support the people that make the content that you like. I've got a million ways you can support me over on my website. Patreon helps me out the most, but there's a bunch of other ways. Next time you're ordering anything FPV related, remember that affiliate links are free money, and use them. If you don't use mine, use Joshua's. If you don't use Joshua's, use Jimmy Bobab's. Do it. It makes a big difference, and it's literally free money. Love you guys. Thanks for dropping the link, Bob Noxious. Here's some flying from the stadium. Hopefully this will be me flying this time. What I played in the beginning of the stream was other people flying my rig. So here you guys go. I love you. I'll see you Wednesday night. Be good. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And suck it. And just remember...
They're getting...
Oh god, I'm talking. Don't talk. Don't talk. Crazy man. And remember...
No! No, 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 no! No, no, no!
I just have to watch the volume meter. Later!